Hey guys, it's Ron again. I come to you today to talk about a release ritual. A couple of you have sent me messages on Facebook and asked about starting a practice and how do you get clearer ideas? How do you clear your head and start to let go of the things that have influenced our lives and the path that we walk on every day? The one thing as I started really studying that helped me, and it wasn't like I did this and the world was lifted off my shoulders. I did this ritual and I felt light. I felt like I could breathe. I felt like I could take in new. So one of the thoughts behind releasing and shadow work is that a cup full can accept anything new. So when you're starting something new or you're ready to start making your dreams happen or start making things happen in your life, we've got to let go of all the things that are using up our magic and our energy currently. An example of this is I used to be in the shower and get furiously mad at something that happened to me when I was in the first grade. I'm 50. Can't go back and fix that. Those little things that bothered us or triggered us when we were children or growing up or when we were vulnerable, they leave a mark and they continue to feed on our energy throughout our lifetime until we acknowledge that lesson, heal it, release it back, and then we're able to use that energy again. The goddess that I personally used in my ritual, especially constantly, because this never stops. You don't do it just one time. You continue to do this throughout your whole time when you're, walking the path of the shadow and healing. I read a beautiful story about Brighid and the Green Man. And that's why I have the two represented here, her and the stag. I was in a thrift store, which I love to go to, flea markets and thrift stores. My altars are filled with those things. Cleansed, of course, but I ran across this beautiful, beautiful picture of a young maiden holding the lambs. It reminded me of spring. It just looks like Brighid in the maiden form, and I felt her embodiment, and this is my image of Brighid. It moves on my altar depending on the time of the year. Yule, Imbolc, especially Astera as she gave birth, and then as she goes into the mother stage in Beltane. The ritual that I use, and you can use any deity you work with, God, any supreme being, any of your higher power that you work with, you just substitute whoever it is. For me, in this instance, it's Brighid. And as she's the goddess of fire, or one of her attributes is the goddess of fire, poetry, inspiration, a great many things are attributed to Brighid. It made sense as I read this story that this would be who I went to in my ritual. So I'm going to be showing you step by step how to do this. But I wanted you to see Brighid as I see her and come to know her as I've come to know her. And do your own study. There is a lot written on Brighid in many, many, many forms. YouTube is loaded with videos. She's the one goddess that the Catholic Church couldn't get rid of, and she became Saint Brighid. She has always been held in high favor in the Celtic Islands, and to this day, worldwide, has a huge following, amassed a huge following. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful deity to work with. She is the goddess of the sun, so while I do recommend any shadow work, and especially any release work, being done at the new moon, you may want to do this, if you're working with Brighid to do this, you may want to do it at sunrise during the new moon phase, or sunset during the new moon phase. All of this is up to you. There's no set in stone. Do what, once you've studied and read and you're ready, do what feels right for you. This is just some basic instruction. This is nothing new. Many, 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 many people do this ritual to many different things. This is my version. This is, people have asked me, so I'm explaining what it is that I do. Most everything you see in all these videos are not going to be one thing. We're all going to say basically the same things, just in different forms, and how we do things. So this ritual is not restricted to me by any means. It's been used by thousands and millions of people for millennia. So this is just my take on it. Okay, so once you've got your paper, you're going to make a list. Now, the first time I did this, it took me a few days because I wanted to make sure I got as much as I could get done. You're going to make a list of everything you can possibly think of that impacted you in a negative way. Somebody called you a name at school. Teacher belittled you. Dad made fun of you at the table. Whatever these things are, you want to, as far back as you can remember. Now, remember, this is years of stuff, and it may take you years of releasing to get to where you want to be. But it's a start, and it's a great way to start. I can honestly tell you, you will feel light and lifted the minute you finish this ritual. It happens that quickly. After you've made your list of stuff, then what I do is over each little thing, I write down everything that made me feel. So somebody called me a name at school. It made me feel awkward. It made me feel polarized, fearful, vulnerable. Anything that it made you feel that you don't want to feel anymore. If someone laughed at you for being poor at school, how did being poor make you feel? Hungry, ashamed, any little thing like that. Any adverb that you can think of that experience caused you want to write down. Now, when I was done with my first one, I wrote front to back. It was, you couldn't see anything. When you have your list ready, and when you're ready to do your ritual, this is what you're going to do. You're going to read over the list aloud as much as you can, and you want to thank the universe, Brighid, whoever it is that you're working with on this ritual. You want to thank them for these lessons, because these lessons were important. No matter how they made you feel, they brought you to where you are today, and that was a lesson. So you want to thank the universe for the lessons that you learned. You want to release these. Now, I'm going to fold the paper once, and you want to make sure that you fold the paper away from you, because you're sending these things back away. You're not drawing them in. So when you want to draw something in, you fold the paper towards you, but when you're sending things out, we fold it back. And we're going to turn it one time counterclockwise. We're going to fold it again. Turn it once counterclockwise. Now you're going to continue doing this until you are comfortable that we're going to burn this in the end. So whatever receptacle you're going to burn it in, whether it be a little cauldron like this one, or if you're going to do it in the fireplace. Now, I had the picture of Brighid on my hearth. She rules over the hearth of the house. And I would normally do this in my fireplace, but it's not winter and I don't have it set up for use yet. So I'm going to do it in my cauldron here. So I'm going to fold it until I can get it into my little cauldron and safely burn. And that's about it right there. Once this is it, we're going to take it in a safe place. Make sure it's safe. Outside's great. All of these rituals started thousands of years ago with bonfires. So we don't really run around doing bonfires now. We can where we live because we're in the middle of the sticks and we always have a lot of stuff to get rid of. So place this in whatever receptacle it is you're going to dispose of it. So after you've written your paper, the prayer that you use should be your own. Do some research. Listen to some invocations if you want. Listen to some other people's things, but it needs to be heartfelt. It needs to be personal to you. And while there is a lot of information out there to inspire you, make it yours. It needs to come from you. It needs to be as honest and sincere as it can be. As with any ritual, it's very important to be very vocal. Vocal, when you say things aloud, it creates a resonance. It's a vibration, and vibrations are an important part of putting your 2 cents into the universe. Lord, kind of following me around. So, as vocal as you can be. Sorry, I'm outside and it's kind of raining. The wind's kind of blowing right in my face. As vocal as you can be, and just once again, as honest and sincere as you're going to be. You're going to hear a lot about all this stuff, that it's the intent that matters. And yes, that is very true. But I find for me that the ritual of it all is what helps me really ground it and center it and bring more power to it for me. There are witches that I know who have been practicing for 40, 50 years who don't have to do any ritual, and I respect that. I think especially with a new beginner, and once again, this is all up to you. You don't have to do anything I say. But I find the ritual to be beneficial. There may come a point where I don't use it, but for me, it's, I like it. That's one of the things I've always liked about some of the religions, is the pomp and circumstance of it all. I like the incense and the sound of the bells and communing. It sets me up for the place I need to be in to make sure I'm in the right mindset to do what it is that I want to do. Okay, so I have prepared my cauldron. I've placed in it some herbs from my own yard. Once again, anything that you've grown yourself makes a great offering to them because you actually did it yourself. I've got lavender and rosemary in there as a purification and to send it on. So I'm going to take my paper. I've invoked my goddess or god. I would use your own words. There are certainly a lot of things in there for inspiration you can use. And then I'm going to take my list and I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to ask the universe, in my case, Brighid, to remove these from me. Allow my heart to open, my mind to open, and allow it to be filled with the new knowledge and new things that I want brought into my life. It's a bit cloudy today, so there we've got a little fire going now. As the smoke rises and it releases all that anger, that suffering, that hate, that revenge, that resentment, those things that are occupying your magic and your energy, they will no longer be able to feed on you. And you'll be able to reuse that energy and that magic in your space.